What is a system? Physical breakdown view. What is physical?
What it is.
What is breakdown?
What its parts are.
What is a view?
A way of looking at and understanding it simply.
Last time we talked about a physical context view with a system of interest that's part of the universe. But what is a system made of?
Subsystems.
A system is made of subsystems. Subsystems make up a system. The parts of a system are called subsystems. What is outside the hammer system?
Wood, balls, nails, and people.
What is inside the hammer system?
Hammer handle and hammer head. The thing that you hold.
The heavy bit, hey?
Yeah,
The metal
bit.
Yeah. Subsystems exchange data, energy, and materials with other things. Those other things can be external systems or internal subsystems. They can have external interfaces and internal interfaces.
Handle and head and nail.
The handle has an external interface to a hand. The head of a hammer has an external interface to a nail. What's in the middle?
Head and the hand.
An internal interface between the handle and the head. I remember in the context view that we didn't have a handle-hand interface, and we didn't have a head-nail interface. We had a hammer-person interface and a hammer-nail interface. What happened? What looked like a hammer-person interface, now at this closer, deeper level, looks like a handle-hand interface. And what looked like a hammer-nail interface is now a head-nail interface. And this kind of overlap can get more complicated. Sometimes an external interface turns into more than one interface at the subsystem level. Maybe two different subsystems are talking to the same external subsystem. We also noticed that there were some new interfaces that did not exist at the context level.
The handle and the head.
The subsystem-only interface is the handle and the head, and it did not appear in the context at all. It was hiding in the context within the hammer system. If we try to draw all this in one diagram, it starts to get complicated. We're trying to keep track of the fact that we've got a person hand, a hammer handle, a hammer head, and a nail. And the interfaces are worse. The simple one is the head and the handle interface. That's the new one. But the hammer, head, nail interface, well, is it a hammer nail interface or a head nail interface, or what is it? And the hammer handle person hand interface, that's starting to get a bit too complicated. And we're only talking about a hammer. What would it be like if we're talking about a submarine?
Really difficult.
If it's too complicated when we're talking about something so simple, it's going to be too complicated when we're talking about something that's genuinely difficult. What can we do?
We can do a system breakdown view.
A system breakdown view keeps track of things across multiple levels. We start at the universe in this particular case, and we see that the universe has three subsystems that we're modeling. We have a person subsystem, a hammer subsystem, and a nail subsystem. And some of those subsystems have their own subsystems.
A person has a hand subsystem. A hammer has a handle subsystem and a head subsystem.
What subsystems does the nail have?
None really, because it's just one middle thing.
It's just one piece. It's not made of any parts. It has a sharp end and a head end, but it's still only one piece, and so we'd say it's only one subsystem, and it doesn't break down any further than that. But this view is missing something important. It's missing our interfaces. Where do they fit in? The handle-head interface fits within the hammer. It's just within the hammer. It doesn't interact with anything else. It's just part of the hammer. The person-hammer interface and the hammer-nail interface fit under the universe because they're interfaces between subsystems of the universe. But they break down onto the hand-handle interface and the head-nail interface. The hand-handle interface is a breakdown of the person-hammer interface, and the head-nail interface is a breakdown of the hammer-nail interface. At the physical context view level, we had a schematic that had a person, a hammer, and a nail. At this level, we've broken things down a little bit more, but schematic view is still useful.
We can see a handle, a head, a nail, and a hand.
The hand is connected to the handle, and the handle is connected to the head, and the head is connected to a nail. And we know what those interfaces are without even having to write their names. The interfaces are called hand-handle, handle-head, and head-nail. Their numbers are 1.1 to 2.1, 2.1 to 2.2, and 2.2 to 3. We can find them in the system breakdown structure and the system breakdown view. If you've been paying attention, you've learned systems are made up of subsystems and subsystem interfaces. System interfaces themselves are made up of subsystem interfaces. Systems and interfaces can be broken down over multiple levels, and that a system breakdown structure helps us keep track of subsystems and subsystem interfaces between different levels of the system, while schematic diagrams help us keep track of subsystem and interfaces at each level of the system. Next time, we'll ask, what is a system? The logical breakdown view. What is logical?
What it does.
What is breakdown?
What its parts are.
What is view?
A way of looking at and understanding it simply.
Bam! Face
cam!